Going to ask this to be codified by Congress, all of these things?
I think we could potentially, yes, sir.
I think so. I think we should. I think we'll get it to. I think Democrats will vote. Well, it's hard to believe that they might not, but I think Democrats will actually vote for this. There's no autopen that can do that. Right? Look at that, Pam. Is that a good signature? Seriously, is that a good signature? Who can write like that? Nobody. I don't know. That's the other thing. I assume we're looking at the whole autopen scam.
Sir.
Because the person that ran it said he spoke to it briefly twice about nothing. That means that all those pardons that he gave to some very bad people, very unpatriotic people, very evil people, it looks to me like those pardons are worthless. Because, number one, you shouldn't use an autopen, very specifically. But if you do, it has to be a very good reason. And they have to know that the president wanted it. The president didn't want this. The president didn't know he was alive, okay? He never approved any of this stuff. He wasn't for open borders and all the other things. He was never for open borders. I've known Biden a long time. He was never very sharp, but he was never in favor of open borders and all of the other things he did to destroy our country. Let's go.
Lastly, sir, this is an executive order on flag burning. It charges your attorney general.
Would you listen to this? This is very important. Flag burning. All over the country, they're burning flags.
Unbelievable.
All over the world, they burn the American flag. And as you know, through a very sad court, I guess it was a 5-4 decision, they called it freedom of speech. But there's another reason, which is perhaps much. Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey. Why this beat so cold?
We will make America proud again. When you try to kill our we will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Oh boy. Let's say it loud and proud, family. They say, Rick, sir, stop saying it, sir. I don't want to hear it, sir. Rick, you better not say it. You got to put your hands behind your back. That's what we advocate for on this channel. Somebody got to be walked out and made an example out of. And oh boy, you just can't make this up. And we get into what has broke the internet the last couple of hours and what everybody's talking about. People want accountability. You know, millions of Americans and even people around the world are just hoping and praying for accountability for these corrupt politicians. You know, and one of the big names we all know of is Adam Schiff. They call him pencil neck, watermelon head, finger neck. I mean, all kind of stuff. You know, President Trump has come up with so many nicknames. But not looking good for Mr. Schiff. And President Trump, once again, talking about the pardons and what we say, null and void. And as you heard there, Trump once again earlier saying about these pardons and the autopen, the biggest scandal in American history. In U.S. history, the biggest scandal, the autopen. You know, and then Trump, he signs and then he points out, look at that signature. Look at the signature. We actually have a president. Yeah, we actually have a president. You know, we actually know who's running the country. You know, they threw that autopen, they threw the machine in the storage unit in the closet. But Schiff went viral for this post right here yesterday. And Trump had posted this on Truth Social, as many of you seen. Trump posted this on Truth Social and X, and it went viral.
Stands up to the president. Anyone who criticizes the president, anyone who says anything adverse to the president's interests, gets the full weight of the federal government brought down on them. Anyone who stands up to the president, anyone who criticizes the president, anyone who says anything adverse to the
So President Trump posted this video of Adam Schiff with his long neck, you know, edited. And Schiff said, and he quoted and responded to Trump and said, even from up here, I can still see you hiding the Epstein files, Donald. And as you know, a lot of people came after Schiff debunked him in the response in the comment section. You know, and people were posting this clip.
Something that I think we're compelled. I do have to ask, and I know, and it's just something that I think we're compelled to at this moment, with the attention on President Trump, with these questions around a pardon. Did anybody see or hear of the president himself doing anything inappropriate as it related to Jeffrey Epstein?
No.
No. Oh boy. And prayers for the Epstein victims and survivors. They're even coming out with their own list, and they say Trump has no wrongdoing. You know, and then even one of the Epstein victims' lawyer comes out and says in 2009 that President Trump was helping bring down Epstein. You know, boy, oh boy. You know, you just can't make it up. You know, but it's not looking good for Schiff. As you know, he has been under investigation. And I'm ready to see his butt live on television, walked out with his hands behind his back. You know, all these frauds, and then we got the federal governor with the fraud. And there is a crazy report that just came out literally a couple of hours ago. We're going to get into this is ridiculous, you know. But Schiff, facing 30 years in prison, must stand trial for his crimes. This is the mortgage fraud, and you know.
When you're the president, a lot of very interesting stuff crosses your desk in the course of a day. And the most interesting thing that President Trump has seen, based on his Truth Social this week, is the mortgage history of Adam Schiff. He thinks that the California senator has committed mortgage fraud, and part of the president's argument is this. I've always suspected Shifty Adam Schiff was a scam artist. Adam Schiff said that his primary residence was in Maryland to get a cheaper mortgage and rip off America, when he must live in California because he was a congressman from California. And here's a quick refresher about President Trump's beef with Schiff.
He is using the department as both sword and shield, acting like a convicted felon because he is a convicted felon. The Trump administration is corrupt.
Acting like a convicted felon because he is a convicted felon. I tell you, man, y'all are just so sad and pathetic. Trump has broke the Democrat Party. And it's the hell with you politicians.
No one, not even a president, is above the law.
Well, now the California lawmaker who spends a lot of time in Maryland is
no one is above the law.
Responding.
So the president today is accusing me of fraud. And the basis of his accusation is that I own a home in Maryland and I own a home in California. Big surprise. Members of Congress, almost all of them own more than one home or rent more.
There it is. Thank you for telling us, sir. Thank you for telling us the quiet part out loud. The hell with you politicians and a whole bunch of y'all, not just you, sir, a whole bunch of y'all that ought to be walked out. Even the lady over the interest rates has committed fraud. Everybody, fraud. Democrat Party, just a bunch of frauds. You know. And it's some of you Republicans too. We're not gonna let you slide either. On both sides. But from what it really looks like, it's 95% of you Democrats are no good. No good. And then what really kills me, y'all did all this hollering and screaming to the top of your lungs. But come to find out, your butt is dirty. You doing all this hollering and screaming, but your butt is dirty. Oh, Trump did this. Oh, did this. But come to find out, your drawers is dirty.
More than one home because we're required to be on both coasts. So he is using my ownership of two homes to make a false claim of mortgage fraud.
The president wants stiff penalties here, so we had a chance to ask, how stiff? say that you want Adam Schiff brought to justice.
I'd love to see him brought to justice. I'll tell you what, I think Adam Schiff is one of the lowest of the low. I would love to see him brought to justice.
We all would.
He's a dishonest, crooked guy. I don't know about the individual charge, if that even happens, but Adam Schiff is a serious lowlife.
The New York Post first reported that Schiff barely spent any time in California because he was always at this Maryland house 3 years ago. Back to you.
Yeah, so I guess one of the things was that they said that they listed as his primary residence, Peter. That was it, and you can't do that.
I tell you, all of them got about 3, 4, 5 different primary residences. I tell you, what a disgrace. And they post all the paperwork and documents all over the internet. Look, you just can't make some of this stuff up, man. You know, and he's still putting videos out, and this is him talking about RFK Jr. He up here gaslighting and fear-mongering, you know, saying that people will die because of this. RFK Jr. needs to resign. No, Adam Schiff, we know who needs to resign.
So HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. testified before the Senate Finance Committee today. It went about as you would expect. This was one of my favorite exchanges.
You know, what a disgrace. They get up, set the little camera up, and run off the exact same script. You know, it's a disgrace, man.
So you'll probably remember when Donald Trump had this to say.
Where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible.
Well, today in the Judiciary Committee, we had a nominee for the Court of Appeals, and I had a chance to ask her whether, as a judge, if she were confirmed, she would accept the idea that the president could murder someone and be immune from liability under the Supreme Court's decision. I asked her that. I also asked her whether the president, having made billions through his cryptocurrency schemes.
You see how low and how
could essentially sell U.S. foreign policy in the Persian Gulf and be held immune for charging billions to Gulf nations for U.S. policy. And finally, I asked her about whether the president could deliberately violate court orders by using the military in lawless ways. And her answers will not assure you at all.
Man, this man, I know he be up all night. Trump got these Democrats up all night. They can't get no sleep. I tell you, y'all are miserable, man. Miserable. These politicians, these Democrats are miserable, man. You know,
the president, anyone.
Well, this that post that
who stands up to the president,
that Trump had posted,
criticized the president. Anyone who says anything adverse to the president's interests gets the full weight of the federal government brought down on them.
I tell you, man, you just can't make this up. You just can't.
This is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and there's some bad news for Senator Adam Schiff in regards to his pardon. Before we get started, please out, and they help our channel continue to grow. Before former President Joe Biden left the White House, he issued a series of preemptive pardons. And to people like Adam Schiff, Hunter Biden, all kinds of people. His own son, Liz Cheney was involved, Adam Kinzinger. And the thing is, preemptive pardons have never been challenged in court. Nobody's ever been charged with a crime who was preemptively pardoned. And the reason for that is the only person before Joe Biden doing this cavalcade of preemptive pardons, the only person to ever be preemptively pardoned was Richard Nixon. And nobody wanted to push the issue because it would have been a horror for the country to have a former president on trial. And by the way, history got Nixon very, very wrong. You should look into that. He was actually a pretty great president. That being said, President Trump was talking about these pardons. And he said, as far as he's concerned, just because of the autopen, they're all void. They're worthless. I think he's right, but there is a law that does allow for an autopen, so this is a gray area where I think he should be focused if he actually wants, and the Department of Justice actually wants to prosecute these people, is charge some people who have been preemptively pardoned, and let's test the theory of the preemptive pardon. It will go all the way to the Supreme Court, let it, and then let's have a decision.
Y'all know we've said that in multiple shows, multiple past videos. You know, because we've been covering this for quite a while. You know, I'm ready to read that headline. I'm ready to see live on television his walked out in handcuffs. They say, Rick, sir, it won't ever happen. No one will ever be held accountable.
On preemptive pardons, because right now, I mean, that's insane. Think about that. Well, here's my son over here. I'm going to pardon him for anything he might do in the next 10 years. And then that guy can go on a spree of crime. He's pardoned preemptively. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You'd have chaos if the preemptive pardon is allowed to stand. I think he should challenge it immediately. I think he should start with Schiff. I want you to watch this and let me know what you think in the comments.
And are we going to ask this to be codified by Congress, all of these things?
I think
We just played this at the beginning.
we could potentially, yes, sir.
I think so. I think we should. I think we'll get it. I think Democrats will vote. Well,
We actually have a president. Look, y'all, look. We actually have somebody signing something. We actually have a president. God bless President Trump, man.
it's hard to believe that they might not, but I think Democrats will actually vote for this. There's no autopen that can do that. Is that a good?
Oh my goodness, bro, he is something else. You gotta love President Trump, man. I mean, he gets done signing and then puts the thing down and says, "There's no auto pen that can do this." Oh boy,
There's no autopen that can do that. Right? Look at that, Pam. Is that a good signature? Seriously, is that a good signature? Who can write like that? Nobody. I don't know. That's the other thing. I assume we're looking at the whole autopen scam.
Sir.
Because the person that ran it said he spoke to it briefly twice about nothing. That means that all those pardons that he gave to some very bad people.
I love how everybody in the comment section is saying, "Thank you, President Trump." Yes, need jail. Pencil neck needs jail. Pencil neck has been bad news for Americans for too long. We the people want arrest. I hope he ends up in jail for 50 years. Schiff needs to be sent to prison and ask the most important question of his life. Adam, do you want to be the husband or the wife? Hey, yo, preemptive pardon is flat out an admission of guilt. You know, boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Very unpatriotic people, very evil people. It looks to me like those pardons are worthless. Because, number one, you shouldn't use an autopen, very specifically. But if you do, it has to be a very good reason. And they have to know that the president wanted it. The president didn't want this. The president didn't know he was alive, okay? He never approved any of this stuff. He wasn't for open borders and all the other things. He was never for open borders. I've known Biden a long time. He was never very sharp, but he was never in favor of open borders and all of the other things he did to destroy our country. Let's go.
Lastly, sir, this is an executive.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I tell you, man. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comment section down below. You know, and again, people are not going to stop mentioning these pardons and the big term null and void, which has been trending for quite a long time. And just the last couple months, it's been trending. It's like every other week, null and void when it comes to the pardon talk. And people are not going to stop talking about these pardons due to the fact of the auto pen and the biggest scandal in American history. You know, one of the biggest scandals we've had. And we're seeing how this all takes place, what they're doing now with this investigation. And hey, we just want accountability and justice. But let me know what y'all think. I love y'all. God bless y'all and your family. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace and love, you guys.